Why do some paint protection film or PPF installations cost more than others? And what's the real difference between a hand-tailored PPF versus a pre-cut installation? I'm going to take you on a quick journey on these two Porsche 718s behind me, and I'm going to show you the differences between those two types of installs. We just happen to have them today and on these two different types of vehicles. So this right here, we just finished up for a client, full body hand-tailored paint protection film with the Martini livery that he went ahead and requested for us to install for him. And that came in right there. That one has also a full body paint protection film that we're in the process of removing. But before we start removing the entire thing, I wanted to take you guys on a quick little tour of it and show you some of the main differences between pre-cut kit and hand-tailored. So come along, I'll show you guys. Now, if you look at the rear bumper, you're going to have some areas where the film has their installation. One is going to be the center part here where you have a seam, and that seam could be avoided if you did this car by hand or a hand-tailored install rather than pre-cut. Pre-cut is always trying to alleviate pressure points or stress by implementing any type of seam that it feels fit for making the installer's life easier. So one of them is going to be there. There's some also obviously a really deep cavity here, so there's going to be some tension relief cuts made by whether it's hand tailored or by the software, but sometimes you'll have little areas like this that'll have some glue failure, and we'll have to go in on a 1 week follow-up and go and take care of it. Again, this install wasn't ours, so this person must have installed it and shipped it off, but the proper way is to come and see the car a week or 2 weeks later and see if there's any areas that have been pushed a little bit past its limits to go ahead and make any adjustments for the customer, so that way it looks as clean as possible. Those are some of the main areas on the rear bumper outside some of these corners and edges in terms of how close they are to be tucked and wrapped around. On this rear quarter panel, installation looks pretty good in terms of any imperfections you might have had, but if you look closely where some of these edges are, or some of the edge work of the film, where it kind of sits and finishes off, you'll see here specifically in this particular area, you'll have about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch where it's kind of away from the edge. You can kind of see from my tool here where you have that. And that kind of rides along here, gets a little bit wider here. And that's because the installer is trying to form it, stretch it to fit on these particular areas, which is what the pre-cut kit is kind of designed to do. So that way you can avoid having to cut anything on the car if you're not really good with utilizing your tools, and it's a little bit more safer for people who are a little bit more novice on installs. Another area that we'll look at, just a few more here. This one right here is on the front windshield surround area, just this particular edge where it is that wraps around, where you can kind of see where the film is kind of ending. And it happens on both sides, so you also catch it here, which just leaves a little bit of area exposed on the forward facing area of the car. But you can see, if you look close enough, where that film kind of ends right there. And then one other area, and this is some of the other areas you'll see on the bumper, is going to be on the front hood. If you guys look closely here on the front corner of this hood, the insulation is done clean in terms of where it lines up on the light refraction areas on the body lines. But if you look close enough, you can see where the film kind of has those ends, or where it ends here, and then it has kind of like a little area where the notch is for the pre-cut kit. So again, the installation is a good install, but it's a pre-cut kit install. So for a lot of customers, who want a little bit more clean installs, or a little bit more picky like us when it comes to the installation, they're going to want a hand-tailored installation. And that extra 5 to 10% that it takes to get to a hand-tailored installation is where that extra time, effort, and energy comes into play, and a little bit more skills when it comes to installation. So I'll show you here on some of the areas. We looked at the rear bumper on this car, and if you look at the rear bumper on this car, you'll notice that there is no seam here present on the center of the bumper anymore. We do have our relief cuts or tension cuts, and where they're kind of lining up against the body is, or where the lines come back in, are on the body panels, or on the body lines per se. So the install looks clean, and we're trying to install it as close to you not being able to detect the film is on the car. Other areas are going to be like you saw on this Cayman, on this one here, which has a slightly different shape because that one is a spider. The same theory applies where the film comes into this particular channel or the rubber seal area. You'll notice it's tucked in really tight where it's hard to find where the leading edge is. Same thing that happens as it wraps around the top, and on these particular areas here where it's tucked and wrapped around and then trimmed on the car. And if you follow that same thing across, you can take a look at these corners here and you'll be able to see how tight these corner gaps are, where you can't really see anything and all the film is pretty, relatively tight and as tucked around as we can do, which is what the film allows, while not compromising on the installation technique of it. And I'll show you one last area. Some of these areas that you'll see where the bumpers and the fenders connect, same thing that comes here. You'll see it's very tight. The film kind of drops inside and tucks inside the channels as best as possible, so that way you have a super clean install and the customers are going to be as excited as we are about this. I know it's the detail work and this last 5-10% that we can get to the customer, but those small things matter a lot for the right customer who's looking for the high quality install for a purchase they just made, that they have a lot of time and love and passion behind their vehicle. So if you got something that you have, or you have a vehicle that you want us to take care of you, whether it's anything with design, protection, or performance, give us a call. The same principles apply across the board with whatever we do. We'd love to go ahead and take care of you. One of our friendly staff will be ready and willing to go ahead and help you guys out. So give us a call today or send us a message, and we'll see you here at SS Customs soon. Deuces.